There we are. As always, if anything that I guide us through doesn't feel quite right in your body, then you're absolutely welcome to opt out. Make sure that you're doing what feels good, honoring your own body. I'll try and give different variations and things, different options. But even then, I mean, I'm operating from my experience. So if something doesn't feel good, you're welcome to either speak up or put something in the chat. Just letting me know that something doesn't particularly work, or we can chat afterwards as well to find different variations. We'll start seated. Letting the sit bones feel nice and balanced on your chair. Might feel good to sway in different directions, forward, back, side to side. Just letting the weight feel evenly distributed, finding your center point. From here, let's let the soles of the feet rest down. If the feet don't comfortably rest and you're a little bit far back on the chair, sometimes it can help to come a little bit forward. And at least for the tall seat, it can sometimes help if the legs still don't reach the floor comfortably to lift them up either on yoga blocks or a stool or a large book. That won't work for the whole practice, but for the tall seat, it does. Imagining that you could lift the crown of the head upward towards the sky, finding some length in the spine. Almost as though you could create some space or stretch between each vertebra. Letting the hands rest wherever they're comfortable. The palms can be up or down. Just breathing here for a few moments as we start to settle in. Noticing how your breath is this morning, the quality, the depth. Where do you feel the breath? Do you mostly notice the air flow through your nose or going into your throat? Do you notice the movement of your body, maybe your chest or your ribs or your belly? Just taking some time to notice, where do you feel your breath? Eyes can be open or closed. And starting to notice if there's any area of tension in your body or maybe areas. So let's start at the top of the head, maybe softening the top of the head, the scalp. Maybe the forehead could feel as though it could soften. Maybe softening the eyes, whether they're open or closed. How would it feel to soften the area around your ears? Softening cheeks and jaw. Moving down into the neck and shoulders, softening the shoulders down. Maybe letting the elbows feel just a little heavier. Letting the forearms soften and rest. Letting the hands rest heavily wherever they're landing. How does the chest feel? The ribs all the way around, front and back. How would it feel to soften the belly any amount? Maybe softening the backs of the thighs, allowing them to rest down in the chair. Softening knees, shins, and calves. Softening the tops of the feet, the toes, and the soles of the feet. as we're here in this seat, allowing the breath to flow easily. Can you imagine sending your breath more deeply than your lungs? Maybe starting to visualize that the breath could start to travel down your arms and legs. Maybe eventually, after several breaths, reaching the very tips of your fingers, the tips of your toes, and the top of your head. With every inhale, bringing vitality, renewed energy, sense of nourishment. And with every exhale, perhaps expelling anything that's sticky or stuck, anything a little gunky that no longer serves you. Spend a few more breaths with this visualization. Inhaling nourishment, exhaling what no longer serves. And bringing your awareness back, maybe to the tip of your nose, just where the air enters your body. And noticing the temperature of the air. Temperature as you inhale, the temperature as you exhale. Starting to flutter your eyes open as you're ready if they're closed. Bringing the backs of the hands to rest on your thighs. And we'll start to move into some very gentle finger exercises to begin. Bringing the tip of the first finger to the tip of the thumb. Holding that for a breath. Releasing the tip of the thumb or first finger, and we'll move over to the second or middle finger. Tip of the middle finger to the tip of the thumb. Inhale and exhale. Releasing that one, bringing tip of the ring finger to the tip of the thumb. Releasing that and moving to the pinky finger. Tip of the pinky finger to the tip of the thumb. Releasing, and we'll move through that one more time. If any of the fingers don't quite reach, then you're using the intention, imagining that they reach, bringing them in the direction of each other. So again, tip of the first finger to tip of thumb. Releasing, tip of the middle finger to the tip of the thumb. Releasing, tip of the ring finger to tip of the thumb. Releasing, tip of the pinky to tip of the thumb. And releasing. Let's move into the wrist a little bit. You can make fists or bring your fingers in towards your palms, and we'll just move into some gentle wrist circles. Palms can stay open as well if that feels better. And let's switch directions of the circles. And let's reach the palms forward, stretching the hands out, reaching the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then let's switch and bring the fingertips down to the floor. One more time, reaching fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then fingertips down towards the floor. Releasing the hands, maybe giving the arms a little shake. Same thing, but we'll stretch the arms out to the sides, fingertips to the ceiling. And fingertips to the floor. Remember to keep breathing. Fingertips to the ceiling. Fingertips to the floor. Releasing the hands, maybe finding that little shake of the wrists or a shimmy of the arms. Let's move back up into the head and neck area. So finding that tall seat again. Crown of the head reaches up. Let's inhale here. As you exhale, tipping the chin down towards the chest. We'll stay here for a breath or two. Breathing some space into the back of the neck. When your next inhale arrives, let's lift the gaze as though we could look up towards the ceiling. We might bring the eyes into the mix, looking up beyond your forehead, up towards the ceiling, maybe back behind you. As you exhale, bringing the chin back down towards the chest again, and maybe the eyes start to look down into your cheeks. Inhaling to lift the gaze once more, maybe looking up, back behind you. As your exhale arrives, tipping the chin down towards the chest, looking down into your cheeks. Maybe one more time, moving with your own breath. When you're ready, coming back to center, letting the gaze come forward, letting the head be forward. If your eyes feel a bit funny, maybe squinting the eyes or squeezing the eyes shut and opening them again. Doing anything that's kind of resets, anything that would feel good. And now let's move the head from side to side. Again, we'll inhale and center. Let's exhale to the left. And maybe the eyes look all the way to the left, over your left shoulder. Inhaling as it arrives, coming back to center. Exhaling over to the right. And maybe the eyes look right out of the corner of your eyes, out to the right, over your right shoulder. Inhaling back to center. Moving twice more in each direction with your own breath. Exhaling to turn. Stretching into the eyes. Then inhaling back to center to reset, letting the eyes come forward. Moving with your breath pattern. Letting this be our last round. As you arrive back to center, giving yourself time for the eyes to adjust, letting them reset. Again, it might feel good to squeeze the eyes shut or open and close the eyes a few times, blinking the eyes. Then coming back to our tall and neutral seat and just noticing how the neck feels, how the eyes feel, before we move into some other movements. Let's move down into the shoulders. This time, let's just have forearms kind of loosely in the air. They're not being supported by anything. They're not guided by the shoulders. We'll just bring them up in the air and see how that feels. And then moving the shoulders up towards your ears and then back and down. Letting this be as big or small a movement as feels good in your body this morning. As you're ready, let's switch directions, bringing the shoulders forward and down, and then back and up. Then releasing the hands once again down to your lap when you feel you're about even. Noticing how the shoulders feel, how the neck feels. Maybe there's a little sparkling or tingling in the shoulders, a little more vitality or movement. And then let's make some bigger shoulder movements. So starting with the right arm, we'll sweep the right arm down or let it hang down beside your right hip. And let's start off just by swinging the arm forward and back. And if it would feel good, we can start to make the movement bigger, the swing bigger. Noticing how far forward and back it's comfortable for the arm to go. And then we can stay here. Or if it would serve you, we can start to do big circles. And if we've moved into circles, let's coordinate with breath. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Releasing the right hand to your left. Pausing for a moment, noticing difference in sensation from right shoulder to left. And then we'll move over to the left arm, letting the arm hang down beside you. We'll start with some gentle swinging of the arm forward and back. Maybe the swinging gets a bit bigger, exploring how this feels, kind of what range feels good in your body. Staying here, or we could start to think about making those big circles. So if it would serve you, bringing the arm up and releasing it back and down. And let's coordinate with breath. Inhaling forward and up. Exhaling back and down. When you're ready, when you've had enough, releasing the left hand to your lap. Noticing differences in sensation from one shoulder to the other, even though we've moved them both. One more time on the right side. Now, kind of feeling where your shoulders are, how they feel this morning. We might just swing, and it might be a smaller swing. Maybe your shoulders have had enough. If it would serve you, we can do circles in the other direction. So this time, swinging the arm back and up. Exhaling down and forward. About 3 if you're in full circles, but it's fine to keep swinging the arm as well, wherever you're feeling it today. As you're ready, releasing the right hand to your lap. Giving yourself that pause in between sides. And then we'll move over to the left hand. Again, either starting with the swing, noticing how your shoulder feels. We don't want to push into anything that doesn't feel good. If it would serve you, we can start to make big circles in the other way, up and back. Exhaling forward and down. Really honoring what your body's looking for today. When you've had enough on this side, releasing the left hand back to your lap. Noticing how the shoulders feel, how the arms feel. Let's pause before we move on to moving our spine in all the different directions. And if it would feel good, interlacing the palms or interlacing the fingers and reaching palms away from you. If this doesn't feel good, we could stack hands. That's one option. Or just reaching the fingertips forward separate. Then if it would serve you, we could reach the palms or hands up above the head. Hands, fingertips can be interlaced or not. What would feel good in your body? Stretching into the side body, really reaching up through the fingertips or through the wrists. Letting the sit bones feel really heavy. How does that change the stretch? And then releasing the hands back down to your lap. Surprisingly hard to keep your hands lifted above the head for any period, isn't it? It always surprises me. All right, let's move into the spine. I'm going to give a few different options for our twist this morning. Let's actually shift forward as we start to move into the rest of the body. So the sit bones are still stable and supported by the chair, but maybe your legs have a little more room to move and you've got some more space behind you. So the first option to twist would be leaving the legs exactly as they are in your most stable position, knees about parallel, maybe hip width distance or a little wider. Second option would be to cross the right thigh over the left. And this could be our place to twist from. Third option would be to slide the shin along your knee, maybe coming as far as the ankle. If you're in this third option where the ankle is more or less over the left knee, then keep the right foot flexed with the toes pulling towards the shin. So any of these variations, inhaling nice and tall, whether feet are parallel, legs are crossed, or ankle over knee. As you exhale, let's turn the shoulders towards the right. So the right hand might come back beside your hip on the chair, or even slide back behind you. The left hand might come to the right knee or thigh. With every inhale, thinking about lengthening the spine, keeping the spine upright. And with every exhale, allowing your body to settle into the twist. If it would serve you and your neck, you could look over the right shoulder or in that direction. The head can also stay in line with the torso if that feels better. One more breath here if it feels okay to stay. Then let's unwind with an inhale, coming back to center. And from here, keeping the legs where they are if they feel good, whichever position you've chosen. Again, we'll inhale nice and tall. And exhale to hinge forward any amount. Keeping the collarbones nice and broad. The hands can rest on the knees or thighs. And we'll breathe here for a couple of breaths. When you're ready, coming back up to seated. If the legs are crossed or the ankles over the knee, unwinding, letting both soles of the feet come back to the mat. Noticing how it feels to be in this tall seat again. One side might feel a bit different since we twisted on one side. Just seeing if you notice any differences in your body. And then we'll set up on the other side. Again, options, either keeping the knees exactly where they are, nice and firm, feet on the floor. Option 2 would be to cross left thigh over right. Option 3 would be sliding the shin along the right knee, anywhere along this continuum, moving towards having the left ankle crossed over the right knee. If the left ankle is crossed over the right knee, we're keeping the left foot flexed, toes pulling towards the left shin. So any of these variations, on this side, I'll do another variation just with thighs crossed. Inhaling nice and tall. As you exhale, turning the shoulders towards the left. The left hand might reach back beside your hip on the chair, or maybe reach back behind you. The right hand might come to rest on the left knee or thigh. With every inhale, thinking about keeping the spine really long, nice and upright. And with every exhale, settling into the twist. If it would feel good in your neck and would serve you today, you could look over your left shoulder or in the direction of your left shoulder. If it feels better, the head can also be in line with your torso. But another breath cycle here if it feels okay to stay. And with an inhale, let's unwind, coming back to center. Pausing here. Inhaling again to find that tall seat. And with an exhale, hinging forward any amount over your legs. Staying here for a couple of breaths, thinking about keeping the collarbones nice and broad. Maybe even thinking about pulling the shoulder blades towards each other. And let's inhale all the way up. Unwinding the legs, coming back to the tall seat. For our side bending today, let's come back to the arms. Imagine you're holding a giant beach ball above your head. And if this doesn't feel good on the shoulders or we've kind of done a little bit too much, the arms can come wide instead, or even reaching down beside you in a low V. So choosing what works for your body. Inhaling tall, exhaling to tip over to the left. Keeping the right sit bone really heavy. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling over to the right, this time keeping the left sit bone really heavy. Inhaling back to center. One more time each side, exhaling over to the left. Right sit bone stays heavy. Inhaling to center. Exhaling to the right. Left sit bone stays heavy. Inhaling back to center. Releasing the arms. Making any counter movements that would feel good. A little shimmy, a little wiggle, a little shake. And let's move into the arching and rounding of our spine, our cat-cow variation. So options today, hands can stay on the knees or thighs, or fingertips could come behind the head with the thumbs down towards your neck or ears. So if arms are lifted, as you inhale, bringing the chest forward, reaching the elbows back, maybe gazing up towards the far corner of the room. As you exhale, rounding forward, bringing elbows towards each other, almost as though you could pull the elbows in towards your belly. So you might move between these two shapes. Inhaling to broaden the chest. Exhaling to round forward, moving with your breath. The other option would be to have hands on knees as you inhale, bringing the chest forward through the upper arms. Exhaling to round the back, round the belly, pulling the belly towards the back of the chair, spreading the shoulder blades. Moving through a few more rounds, moving to your own breath and to whatever depth feels good in your body. As you're ready, making your way back to your tall seat. Noticing the effects in your body, any sensations that are coming up. And let's move down into the legs. We'll start with the right leg. We'll move the leg into hip circles. So we have options. We can keep it quite passive. We could reach down, lift under the right thigh, and bring the thigh up towards us. Another option would be to attempt to bring your thigh up towards you with no hands. Maybe lifting the thigh up in towards your chest before grabbing it. Once you have your thigh ready for our next move, we'll start to move the thigh bone in circles in the hip socket. And again, we've got choice. Either the arms can do all the work, just moving the leg in circles, or you can start to lighten the load of the arms using the leg. How much power is in your leg? How much support can the leg do for itself? This is a more active mobility, right? It's supported movement rather than passive movement if you're using the muscles of your leg. Switching directions as you're ready. Your choice whether to keep the arms working more or the leg working more. Maybe both are working. When you're ready, allowing the right leg to come back to the mat. Releasing the arms, finding that tall seat again, broad chest, shoulders back. Tall crown of the head lifting, tall spine. Noticing differences from one thigh to the other or one leg to the other. Okay, coming to the left leg, choice again, either reaching down under the left thigh and bringing it up towards you, or using the power of your leg itself to bring the knee up towards your chest as far as possible. Once we have the left thigh in hand, more choice. We'll start to move the leg in circles. It can be small, maybe gradually getting bigger. And then you decide, do you keep the work in your arms? Or do you start to make this a more active movement, maybe using the power of your leg to draw circles, lightening the load in the arms? Playing with the balance between the two. Let's switch directions of the circles. And then allowing the left leg to come back down to the mat. Resetting again, finding your tall seat. Noticing the legs. Coming back to the right side. Again, your choice. Lifting the leg of its own power or reaching down and holding under the thigh. This time just lifting the leg enough to lift the foot off the floor so that we can draw some circles with the toes or the ankle. Switching directions as you're ready. Pointing and flexing the foot a couple of times. And let's release right foot back to the floor, giving yourself that in-between breath to notice differences from one foot to the other. And then we'll move over to left foot, either bringing the leg up on its own or reaching down and bringing up the thigh. Ankle circles left side. Switching directions as you're ready. Let's point and flex the foot a few times. And then release left foot down to the mat. Let's move through our sun salutations. So setting up for your favorite version. Legs can be wide, legs can be more narrow. As we come into a forward fold, you can decide what position feels better on you, whether you like the compression between belly and thigh, or if you like a little more space to allow the torso to come forward a little further. We've got options for the arms as well. We often say sweep arms up and overhead, but if that doesn't work, arms could come wide, arms could come in cactus, arms could even be in a big V down towards your sides. So deciding, just having a mental picture of where your arms are headed. Inhaling in this nice tall seat. Exhaling. And let's begin. Inhale to sweep arms wherever they're going. Exhaling, hands to thighs. Inhaling into that cow position. Chest comes forward through the upper arms, arching the back, gaze lifts. Exhaling to round the spine like a Halloween cat, belly towards the back of the chair. Inhaling back to a tall and neutral spine, crown of the head lifts. Exhaling to fold forward. Maybe the forearms come to thighs, fingertips might trace the shins, or hands come to the floor. Inhaling, right arm sweeps up into a twist. Exhale, right arm comes down. Inhale, left arm sweeps up into a twist. Exhale, left arm down. Inhale, both arms sweep up, maybe wide, maybe up and overhead. Bringing us back to a tall seat, exhaling, hands to thighs. Taking an in-between breath. Does anything need to change? Do feet need to be adjusted? Will you try a different hand variation? Here we go again. Inhaling as you're ready, sweeping arms wherever they're headed. Exhaling, hands to thighs. Inhaling, arching the back, chest and belly come forward, gaze lifts. Exhaling to round the spine, belly towards the back of the chair. Inhaling back to a tall and neutral seat. Exhaling to fold forward, forearms to thighs, maybe fingertips to shins or hands to the floor. Inhaling to sweep right arm into a twist. Exhale, right arm down. Inhale, left arm into a twist. Exhale, left arm down. Inhale, both arms sweep either up or wide, wherever they're headed, coming back to a tall seat. Exhaling, hands to thighs. Beautiful. Taking a breath in between. Making any adjustments for a third and last sun salutation. Maybe the feet go wide this time. Maybe they come narrow if they were wide. Deciding where the arms are headed this time. As you're ready, inhale to sweep arms wherever they're headed, up and overhead or wide or low. Exhaling, hands to thighs. Inhaling to bring the chest and belly forward, gaze lifts. Exhaling to round the spine like a Halloween cat. Inhaling back to a tall and neutral spine, crown of the head lifts. Exhaling to fold forward, your version. Inhaling to sweep right arm up into a twist. Exhale, right arm down. Inhale, left arm sweeps up into a twist. Exhale, left arm down. Inhale, both arms sweep wide or up and overhead. Exhaling, hands back to your thighs, finding your tall and neutral seat. Beautiful. Bringing the legs closer together again, about hip width distance if they were wide, or whatever your most neutral seated position is. And we'll move into the legs a little bit just before we come to standing. For this one, we'll move one leg at a time. We'll move through a short flow using both legs. Finding your tall seat, inhaling here. As you exhale, let's stretch the right leg forward. Either the heel can come to the floor or maybe the leg lifts. Maybe holding it for a breath. And then releasing right leg back to the floor. Finding that tall and neutral seat again, both feet on the floor. Inhale. With our exhale, we'll straighten or lift the left leg. Maybe heel comes to the floor or maybe left leg lifts. Holding for a breath. And then releasing left foot to the floor. We'll complicate that just a little bit with options. Inhaling in center. Exhaling to straighten right leg, either heel to the floor or lifting. Inhale here with the leg lifted or straight. As you exhale, hinging forward over your leg. Inhaling back up to the tall seat. And releasing the right leg. Inhaling at center. Exhaling to straighten or lift the left leg. Inhaling here. Exhaling to hinge forward. Inhaling back up. Exhaling to release the leg. It might feel good to sway the knees from side to side a little bit. And let's come to standing. We'll do a variation standing. I see we're kind of running out of time. We only have 5 minutes, so I will try not to rush through them. Coming up to seated as you're ready, any way that feels good. We'll find ourselves standing with the support of the backrest of the chair. From here, let's keep the right foot where it is, and we'll step the left foot back, coming up onto the toes. Then let's play with bending into the front leg a little bit. Any depth, it doesn't have to be your deepest bend, but just a little bend in the front knee. Finding our high lunge. Letting the crown of the head be tall. And then maybe playing with the idea of making the back heel heavy, almost as though the heel had a weight in it, reaching towards the floor. Okay, for our flow. With an inhale, let's straighten the front leg. As you exhale, tipping forward any amount. Inhaling upright once more. Exhaling to bend into the front knee. One more time, inhaling to straighten. Exhaling to tip forward. Inhaling back up. Exhaling to bend into the front knee. Holding the back of your chair, let's step the back leg forward. Finding yourself on both feet for a moment. Nice and strong, pulling energy up from the earth. Crown of the head is lifted. We'll leave left foot where it is this time, stepping the right foot back, coming onto the toes. And finding a little bit of a bend in the left knee. Can be deeper or more shallow, deciding what feels good for you today. As you settle in, maybe thinking about letting the back heel feel really heavy or weighted, reaching towards the back of the floor or the floor. Okay, we'll move through our flow. With an inhale, let's straighten the front leg. Exhaling to hinge forward. Inhaling back up. Exhaling to bend the left knee. Again, inhaling to straighten the front leg. Exhaling to tip forward. Inhaling back up. Exhaling to bend the front knee. Beautiful. Stepping forward with your back foot. Coming back to that tall spine, tall stance. Feet both firmly supported by the floor. Might feel good to release the hands just for a moment. Let's throw a balance in here. We'll keep it quite quick. So you can stay facing your chair if that feels good, or one hand could be on the chair so you're facing the camera with me. Let's start by standing on whichever foot is closest to the chair. Other foot will start to lift. Toes could stay on the floor. Maybe the toes lift, knee comes forward. Maybe drawing the knee up as close to your chest as possible, as high as possible, squeezing it in towards you. Breathing. Maybe lifting the supporting hand, maybe just playing with the balance. And then let's release the foot back to the floor. Wiggling out anything that needs wiggling. And then we'll find that same balance on the other side. If it would feel good to use your other hand for support, we could switch directions. Okay, other foot. The foot furthest from the chair starts to lift if you've switched positions. Other leg anyway. Toes might stay on the floor, or the knee might lift. If the knee is lifted, maybe bringing the knee as close in towards your chest, lifting the leg as high as possible towards you. And then maybe playing with the balance, letting go of the chair or your support, even briefly, remembering to breathe. Lifting just a little higher before releasing to the ground. Finding any wiggling that would feel good. Beautiful. Let's come back to seated, making any last movements if your body just needs to shake or move or stretch in any way while we're standing. Doing anything you need to do before coming back to the chair. I've gone over by a minute already. If anybody needs to rush off, I'll understand. I'll do a quick closing if you're able to stay. Settling back into your chair, letting the sit bones feel supported, the back of your legs supported. Noticing your breath for about 3 cycles. Let's just come back to the breath. It might feel good to have hands on belly or hands on belly and heart. Hands can stay exactly where they are. Or if it's in your practice, hands could come to Anjali Mudra or prayer position. Hands could also be over your heart if that feels good. Tipping your forehead down just slightly to connect head and heart. Gratitude to yourself for making the time to practice, first of all. With gratitude from me to you for allowing me to guide you through this practice this morning. And with gratitude to all the students and teachers who have come before us, passing down this practice. Peace. I'll stop the recording if anyone would like to say hi.